Dandruff.
Yes.
I went to the store yesterday,
Yeah.
and I very quickly realized that I have not purchased soda in a very long time.
I wish I could
And
take
I don't know what happened, but I wanted ginger ale. And I went to the Schweppes section, and soda costs $10 for a 12 pack.
Yeah.
I don't think it's been that long since the last time I bought soda, and I remember it being like $6 or $7 for a 12 pack.
I remember when the grocery store by my house opened up, they had, God, I'm an old girl. I'm an old lady now. The the 2 liters of soda were like 86 cents. They're $1.89 now.
Yeah, the 2 liters I noticed are much better priced than the 6 packs, but I think that's also because the shelf life for once you open them is also much shorter. So for the most part, you either have to drink it or you have to drink it very quickly or you lose it. Whereas I can sit on a 12 pack of soda for probably for weeks, for if not months.
I can't. I drink that stuff too fast, and I shouldn't. I've gotten off soda, and I'm a lot.
But I was about to give up, and then I noticed they had a brand I've never seen before. It's Polar.
Okay.
And they had a brand of ginger. They had diet ginger ale, they had cola, and they had diet cola. And the only downside to this I could see for people is that it does use aspartame. I've tasted it. You can't really taste it in the ginger ale. I haven't had the Diet Coke yet. But most importantly, it is $4.99 for a 12 pack, normal price.
Okay, yeah, no, that's not bad. Yeah, see, I think the thing that I drink has aspartame in it. I've been drinking like sparkling ice. I don't know, but like acetate, or wait, no, maybe not. I don't know. I don't know. I like this stuff. It's 5 calories a bottle, and it's cheap, and it's good.
This is my go-to because I spent $10 on a 24 pack of diet soda because I was too lazy to take a trip to Target and get my CO2 bottle refilled for $15 because I own a Ninja Thirsty, and that is my current soda device.
I've been wanting to maybe get one of those, but they seem like needlessly complicated, and I'm not sure if I want to spend the money.
I love it. It's not that complicated. You have you can put and mix 2 flavors.
Okay.
And I actually used it. They have a knockoff Dr. Pepper called Dr. Thirsty. And when I bought it, my only complaint was that it doesn't have the same cherry flavor as Dr. Pepper.
Mm-hmm.
But Ninja has a cherry seltzer water. And you can mix the syrup from that with the syrup from Dr. Thirsty to make something that's more or less Dr. Peppery.
Yeah, that sounds pretty good.
The only thing I could see people not liking is you kind of have to you are trapped in the Ninja economy unless you want to kind of put in your own syrups. But it's replaced my SodaStream. You can just use it to dispense carbonated water. So if you do have your own syrups, you don't have to use the stuff that they put in.
That's good. I don't like it when they like force you to do stuff. Like, I think it was Keurig. It was like you have to use their own pots or whatever.
Yeah. Also, it does use the exact same CO2 size containers that the SodaStream does. So if you do own a SodaStream, now because of my own laziness in the past, I do have like 4 CO2 canisters that I can that are all empty that I can take in and swap out just because I've had a few times where I've been at the store and I remembered that I needed CO2 and I didn't want to make the trip back home to get the bottle to refill it, so I bought a new one. So between the canister that they sent me with the Ninja Thirsty and the Soda Streams, I do have 4 bottles of CO2, 4 empty bottles of CO2 sitting in my kitchen. But they are 0 calorie. It does, the $5 diet ginger ale does actually contain ginger in it.
Oh, good.
But yeah, soda's expensive. I'm kind of liking this new world where shit is becoming, like, fast food is becoming stupid expensive and soda and stuff is becoming expensive because my cheapness has directed me to eating a lot healthier than I have in the past, because junk food has become as expensive, if not more expensive, than eating healthy.
Yeah, which that's, you do what you gotta do.
I went to the store and I was looking for snack food, and a container of, like, salsa, chips, and cheese will put you back $13-14
Jeez.
together, because it's like
Yeah.
$5 for the bag of chips, $4 for the salsa, and another $4 for the cheese.
It's
It's not worth it.
Yeah, no.
Meanwhile, they have, like, crackers and cheese dip is constantly on sale at my local grocery store. The healthier stuff.
Yeah, I have definitely been cooking more often, which I like, I like to cook, so that's fine. Plus then I know exactly how much um salt, fat, sugar I'm putting in everything.
Right. Let's get the show started.
Yay.
It's mighty strange. You looking happily deranged. I can't settle in bed. Or have you picked your target yet? It's in bed. Don't your dog bite? It's in bed.
Okay. Came in a little late on that music fading out. This is Online for Maintenance, the official podcast of MMO Fallout. I'm Connor. This is my co-host, Dandruff.
Hi.
And this is episode number 3, Castles and Elbows. I got a couple of things to talk about. We've got some games we've been playing this week, and I have to explain the title of the episode, as I do every episode, because I always like coming up with something that works with the subject of the show. And today's subject is something a little bit close to my heart that I wanted to talk about, and it is the idea of policing your castle.
Okay.
And in this case, when I say castle, I mean website, community, if you own one. This is kind of tying in with the semi-regular MMO Fallout consultation services. And today's consultation is going to be not dedicated to game developers, but people who run communities. Because I'm an old man, I've been on the internet since 1998, and I have been in many collapsed communities. I've always been a little bit proud of the fact that MMO Fallout and my YouTube channel are small enough that on the MMO Fallout side, I have had to ban one person over the last 5 years for being an asshole. And it happened about a month ago.
Oh, wow.
Because I try to keep my content more positive. I try to keep the community. I've harvested a pretty normal community.
Mm-hmm.
Which isn't to say that people don't get, a little crude, a little. It's not a matter of criticizing things, because I do have a lot of negative comments on my articles. I leave pretty much everything that's critical of me. But there was a guy who showed up about a month ago who was ranting about Jews and Ukrainians being horrible people.
Oh, okay.
This was in response to an article that I had posted where it was about, I believe it was about Stalker getting delayed. Or no, it was about, so I wrote an article about this game called Core Punk, and it's sort of a mix between MOBA and MMO.
Okay.
And Core Punk had a bug where players lost. They meant to delete a certain tier of artifacts from the loot pool, and they accidentally deleted it from player inventories as well.
Okay.
And the developer put up a comment where they said, we could spend a week creating and bug testing and implementing a tool that will let us put these items back in player inventories, because we know exactly what was lost, and we know exactly who had what and what was lost.
Yeah.
But they were announcing that the time that it would take to implement a tool to give those items back they didn't believe was worth the time and effort.
Okay.
And my article was just a thing of saying, this is a great reason to never play the game.
Yeah.
If the developer's coming out and saying straight up that that they don't believe that reimbursing players is worth the effort.
Yeah, because if I've played a lot of World of Warcraft, and if Blizzard were to have done the same thing, they would have lost hundreds of thousands of players just on sheer principle alone. Because like, if you can't trust your developer to like maintain inventory for like an MMO, then like that's kind of the whole basis of the game, I guess, or it's one of the foundations of the game.
Right. So this guy, I logged on to I logged on to WordPress a couple of days later, and there was a guy. The first thing that I saw, I read a reply to the comment before I read the comment itself, and for a second I thought it was directed at me, but a guy commented on the back and he said, "Oh, so you're a fucking racist. Got it. Maybe if your home was being bombed by a fascist psychopath, you could empathize." And I saw that before I saw what he was responding to.
Mm-hmm.
And the comment, which I have long since deleted, was basically talking about how like maybe the developer is like this because they're Ukrainians, and I found that Ukrainians are generally terrible people. And I deleted it, and I responded back. Well, I edited the comment.
Yeah.
I could have been crueler, but I edited the comment and I just left deleted racist shit.
Good.
And I messaged the guy back and I said, I don't know where you think you are, but that shit isn't welcome here. Take it somewhere else. And he responded back, so there is censorship and no free speech. Got it.
Yes.
Won't give clicks to this website / blog anymore. And I messaged back and I said, you're right. There's no free speech here. I said, this is my house. You're the first person in 7 years I've had to remove comments because you can't compose yourself like a decent human being. So the problem seems to be you.
Mm-hmm.
I never got a response back from the guy.
this is the problem that I see with a lot of these free speech absolutists. I'm not necessarily going to say this guy's a free speech absolutist, but he's like, oh, so there's censorship
He
and
sounds
free
like it.
speech. But
I think it's a fair assumption.
yeah, but there we both know that that's not what censorship is. That's not what freedom of speech is. You don't have freedom of speech on a private platform.
Right.
You don't have freedom of speech when you go into a business. Like, freedom of speech only protects you from the government implementing laws regarding speech. Censorship is directly the government snuffing speech out or making speech illegal. Like, when people claim censorship, they're just being melodramatic, and they just mean I want to say whatever I want to say without consequence.
Yeah. And this is sort of I might be risking going into inside baseball with this, but there's a few people who might listen to the podcast who know what the inspiration for this is as I go deeper into it. But this was more of a direct, very obvious example, but I think it goes further, and it has been making me think about the need to police your own community, and the idea that watering down that I've seen over the last decade of conflating not wanting to be seen as micromanaging versus getting assholes out of your community.
Yeah.
And there's this whole idea that of people who run these communities that ultimately cause their own downfall because they allow aggressive, bad faith shitheads to skirt the line, and they allow them to push out the normal people in the community to the point where nobody wants to engage, and then they wonder why nobody's here anymore. To give it to go in sort of a hyperbolic direction with it, it's the Nazi bar analogy, where if you allow a Nazi into your bar, you have a Nazi bar. And the more you allow him to bring his friends in, the more they push out the normal people, and you end up with just a Nazi bar.
Yeah.
And I've seen that in a lot of communities. I'm not talking about Nazis, but I've seen that in a lot of communities where you have where you let these aggressive assholes show up, and they're confrontational with everyone. They act like assholes. They sideline conversations. They make things about themselves. They skirt the line in bullying members to the point where nobody feels safe enough to talk. And then you have people who come into the community that see these people dominating the conversation, and they leave. Or they leave pretty quickly, or they come in, they see that it's kind of futile trying to have a conversation, and then they leave. And the whole time the person running the show doesn't want to get rid of the assholes because they don't want to be seen as they don't want to be seen as unfair or heavy-handed, or they don't want those people claiming that their free speech has been infringed on, or like they're so afraid of being the target of that confrontative person that they don't want to get rid of them. When in reality, what you should be saying is, I own this place. You're it doesn't, the whole idea of objectively being fair about the rules it doesn't matter.
Yeah. This is reminding me of two different content creators. One of them, that's probably the easier example, is Hassan Piker. If you know anything that happened with him with the H3H3 drama and stuff, his community basically attacked the H3 community, and Hassan was just like, well, you know, free speech, whatever. When these people are outright attacking Ethan Klein for being Jewish, and it's like,
Right.
I don't agree with Ethan, but I don't agree with Hassan's community attacking Ethan over one being Jewish and his wife also being a member of the IDF at one point in her life.
Right. And you do see it a lot with these, because the benchmark has become, well, he hasn't said a racist slur. Like,
Yeah.
this person joined the community and they're aggressively being assholes to everyone, but the people in charge don't want to get rid of them because, like, well, they're not being racist. They're not explicitly being racist. They're whining incessantly. They're making everything political and talking about the liberals and woke and DEI, but they haven't said the gamer word. So, like, my hands are tied.
They haven't actually, quote unquote, broken a rule, you know, that
Yes.
sort of thing.
In not acting, you've taken a side.
Yes.
Because you're telling the people who are there for conversation, who are constantly getting sidelined and bullied, the people who run the server are not on your side.
Yeah. And that's just going to kill conversation. That's going to kill interaction. And like you said, you're just going to end up with the people who are just the aggressive, like assholes taking that position. And then we don't have the constructive conversations that we were having before.
Right. And you endear yourself less to them when the moment, because usually in these communities, the moment that those people strike back, that's when the aggressive people get on the defensive and they say, well, I'm not allowed to give my opinion here, I guess. And then the person running the community steps in and says, hey guys, let's calm things down.
Oh, look,
And
playing both the aggressor and the victim, you don't say.
and what the person, like, what the normal people see out of that is, okay, so this person's allowed to be an asshole, and the moment that I hit back, then it's like, okay, then it becomes something that the moderators pay attention to.
Yeah.
And again, this is a little inside baseball, for the inspiration for it, if you've been paying much attention to what's been going on in a certain Steam group comment section. But I did want to just kind of get that off my chest before going into the show. Have you been playing any games? I did see in your activity you had the Yakuza, Pirate Yakuza demo.
I did. Of course, I'm playing Sea of Thieves as I usually am. Season 15 started, but we'll get to that. Yes. After a couple attempts, it didn't want to run. It didn't want to run on my computer for some reason. So I did the thing. I was like, I haven't updated my graphics driver in a year, so let's do that. And then it worked. So
Isn't PC gaming grand?
I know it's fun. It's fun. I also don't have it auto update my drivers, and I probably should, but I'm weird.
I don't auto update my drivers, and I don't update my drivers until until my computer starts screaming at me. The same thing with Windows updates, just because of how many times in the past some NVIDIA, like, it's like when I think it was NVIDIA released a driver and it broke all of Ubisoft's games.
Yeah.
That's why I
NVIDIA's
never auto update.
NVIDIA's released some drivers. Let me tell you what. I remember back when I first got my 980, they released a driver that like bricked half of them.
Oh no, it was Windows released an update that broke Ubisoft games.
Ah, okay. Well, no, I remember back when the 980 came out, there was a driver that they put out that was like killing half of their cards. And like I even on when I was doing my show at the time, I was like, everybody, don't update your NVIDIA graphics cards. Just leave it as it is. If it says update, say no. Wait until it's safe because it is not safe right now. And they've done that. They haven't done anything that bad that I remember, but I do know that they had a little bit of an issue, or they put a bit rate, a hash governor on the 3060 because it had a huge frame buffer on it. So they're like, in order to stop the card from being scalped, we're gonna limit the hash rate, and so yada yada yada. Like a month later, they put out a driver that undid the hash rate limit, so it's just opened up full bore to the 3060. That's great. But back to the game, I did play Yakuza. Oh my god, it was a hoot. It was so much fun.
It's just complete insanity, isn't it?
Yeah, because like I don't feel like I'm very good at it because I've never played a Yakuza game before. But like it was, you immediately dropped into it. You're on the beach and you're like, all right, go beat up these assholes. They're literally just called assholes. Like I've never seen a game just call your enemy. Yeah, just go beat up assholes. Like that's fun.
I love
And
that.
then you're doing like these basic attacks, and then it's like do air juggles, and then you start throwing them in the air, and like doing all these other crazy stuff, and then you get like pirate powers and start summoning sharks to go attack them. It's great. It was so much fun.
The shark power is fantastic.
Yeah, I didn't really figure out the melee like Dynasty Warriors combat very well. But I did like the ship combat. That was pretty fun. It was different than Sea of Thieves because Sea of Thieves is very manual. This is very arcadey. Like the ship battles was quite arcade style. Where you could even shoot forward with machine guns. That was pretty fun.
Right. You're not missing out on a huge. The game will never leave you confused because I assume you haven't really. I mean, you haven't really played many of the other, or I don't think any of the other ones. There's characters in this game who come in from previous titles, but I don't think that you're going to be lost if you haven't played outside of like not recognizing characters and maybe not understanding the significance of some of the plot points.
Yeah, I wasn't following the plot too closely. I was kind of like talking with friends while I was playing, and I was a little bit distracted. But like I'm a mechanics girl anyway, so I pay attention to more mechanics than I do the story. But I also got to experience the rhythm game, the karaoke, and I was that's so much fun. I wish it were a little bit better because you only use the right side of the joystick or the controller. Um, I wish it was like the two-handed thing because I'm more familiar with like DDR style rhythm games or that kind of thing. So
Yeah.
but it was good. Like the songs were wonderful.
Oh yeah, it's great. Yakuza, you have to keep in mind, I think people get this idea that Yakuza is in the gaming sphere, Yakuza has become a big name.
Mhm.
A lot of people talk about it. It didn't get big in the West until Yakuza 0. And
Okay, yeah, that makes
it's important to keep in mind that Yakuza, there's a lot of reused things. The karaoke system has not changed pretty much at all since Yakuza 1.
okay.
And a big reason for that is that Yakuza, it's never been it's a very low budget game. It's never made a huge amount of money. So they do reuse a lot of things. They reuse a lot of assets. They reuse maps. They reuse character lines like assets. It's a lot of recycled material, which is kind of what I went into last week, where I said that the people who have been playing the game for a long time have the attitude of, yeah, we get it. They're doing what they can with what they have. And Yakuza has always been a series that's been very narrowly teetering on financial viability.
Mhm. Well, I'm not sure if I could necessarily feel that out of it, but it did feel very well put together for what I was experiencing. I'm not sure if I really got like I played only about an hour and a half, 2 hours of it. And so I'm not sure if there was more to the demo than the karaoke, the ship battles, and then the, Dynasty Warriors. I
Right?
don't know.
There's it's a lot of little systems put together. Like
Yeah, but it
I
works. It works so well.
yeah,
That was the other thing too. And if I could also comment too, the game is gorgeous. It's absolutely like the character models are really good. I remember one scene where like you're just kind of like looking at the character's face and he's talking and like there's a lot of motion to his face. It doesn't look like, you're just the jaw is just moving back and forward. There's expression there. Like the quality was really nice. It even had HDR enabled on it too. So it was really, really pretty.
it's a mishmash.
Yeah.
So there's a bunch of little mechanics. In the lower left-hand corner of the map, there was a darts mini game that you might
Oh,
have missed.
I did miss the darts minigame. That's what I was kind of asking. Like, I don't know if I missed anything. So yeah, I missed the darts.
There's a whole element of uh, food being a way of boosting stats.
Mm, okay.
When you go to the stores and you have combinations of food and drink that you can buy, and I also noticed in the demo there's um when you're walking down the street there's people with little emojis over their heads,
Yeah.
and you can wave to them, and it creates a relationship in your logbook. And I'm pretty sure in the full game you can recruit those people to your ship as crewmates.
Okay, that's cool.
But the full game would have leveling your crewmates, and there's a whole RPG management thing for that side of the game. You do have friendship levels for shop owners and restaurants. That the more you spend with them, the better the affiliation is. I assume in the full game that you'll get discounts or maybe get access to better stuff. But Yakuza has always been it's a bunch of little things all coming together for the full experience. Mini games, yeah. And Yakuza, like Yakuza 0, it starts out you're beating up guys, and then by the end of the game you're still beating up people, but there's a bunch of different mini games. You have relationships, you have they do kind of a Vice City level of owning property
Okay.
and managing it and getting income from that. I do love the running idea in Yakuza that you level up in the games, you invest money.
Okay.
Like that's how you level up. It doesn't use an experience system. You gain abilities and like make yourself more powerful, give yourself more health and more mana by just investing money. And there's a guy in Yakuza 0 that teaches you this system, and he's like, there's nothing you can't do to improve yourself that can't be solved with a ton of money.
Just like real life.
Yeah. Um but yeah, I love the Yakuza games. It's a series that I'll never play it as much as I want to.
Hmm. That makes sense. I'm so happy I like because I've heard about them before and I knew what I was getting into. I just never experienced it, and it's fun. It's good. It's like the Dynasty Warriors part of it. I don't know how else to describe the fighting. It's nice. It's really good. Like if you want like a game that's a brawler, that's like, ship combat, that's rhythm games. How is the dart game? How is that played?
It's fine.
Okay. Well, it just seems like, it's really good. It's like an eclectic, you won't get bored kind of game.
Yeah, there's always something to do, and even if you want a break from the combat, there is the mini games, the just kind of going around and enjoying the scenery is a thing in itself.